Spain, United Kingdom, Germany, United Kingdom, Israel, Indonesia, Australia, France, India, Indonesia, Spain, Australia, Spain, Turkey, Germany, South Korea, Ukraine, Canada, America, India, America, Canada, America, Palestine, Mexico, Mexico, Vietnam, Australia, United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, Australia, Australia, Turkey, Spain, Philippines, Israel, Mexico, United Kingdom, United Kingdom, Brazil, Mexico, Japan, United Kingdom, Palestine, Israel, Ukraine, Germany, America, France, France, Turkey, Russia, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Ukraine, America, Israel, Argentina, Ukraine, Israel, Ukraine, Indonesia, Mexico, Germany, Ukraine, Russia, France, Brazil, India, Indonesia, Germany, Brazil, Germany, Brazil, Turkey, Vietnam, Brazil, Ukraine, Canada, Ukraine, Brazil, Germany, America, Brazil, United Kingdom, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, Ukraine, South Korea, Brazil, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Germany, Mexico, South Korea, Brazil, United Kingdom, Indonesia, Brazil, India, Germany, France, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, India, America, Germany, Brazil, India, India, Ukraine, Brazil, Ukraine, Germany, South Korea, United Kingdom, Germany, Ukraine, Brazil, Spain, Brazil, Japan, Ukraine, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Germany, Brazil, Ukraine, Germany, Brazil, Israel, India, South Korea, Germany, India, South Korea, India, Russia, South Korea, India, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Brazil, South Korea, South Korea, Brazil, America, Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Brazil, Canada, South Korea, Brazil, Ukraine, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Brazil, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Brazil, South Germany, Japan, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Germany, South Korea, Germany, Ukraine, South Korea, Germany, South Ukraine, Germany, France, Brazil, South Germany, South Korea, Turkey, Germany, South Korea, Indonesia, Germany, Turkey, Germany, France, Brazil, America, South Korea, Israel, Russia, Germany, Canada, Brazil, Germany, Indonesia, South Korea, Germany, Russia, South Korea, Brazil, Germany, India, South Korea, Russia, Germany, South Korea, Russia, Indonesia, Germany, America, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, Germany, Russia, Mexico, Germany, South Korea, Philippines, Brazil, Russia, Canada, Spain, Russia, Canada, South Korea, United Kingdom, Russia, Canada, Russia, Canada, Russia, Argentina, Russia, Brazil, in America, Brazil, Russia, Canada, Brazil, Russia, South, Canada, Brazil, Canada, Brazil, Russia, Brazil, South, Canada, Russia, Brazil, Turkey, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Russia, South Korea, Canada, South, Russia, Canada, South Korea, Russia, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Philippines, Brazil, South Korea, Russia, Canada, Brazil, Turkey, Indonesia, Russia, South Korea, Russia, Canada, Russia, Canada, America, Brazil, Canada, Russia, America, Russia, Indonesia, South Korea, America, Russia, South Korea, America, Germany, Vietnam, Brazil, Russia, Canada, America, Russia, Indonesia, Canada, America, Brazil, Russia, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Russia, Indonesia, South Korea, Brazil, Canada, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Russia, Canada, Brazil, South Korea, Russia, Vietnam, Canada, Vietnam, Australia, Brazil, Russia, South Korea, Israel, Canada, South Korea, Brazil, Russia, Vietnam, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, Russia, Brazil, Indonesia, Brazil, America, Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Brazil, South Russia, Brazil, Australia, Brazil, Germany, Philippines, Argentina, South Korea, Russia, Israel, South Korea, India, South Korea, Philippines, Russia, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Palestine, Brazil, Palestine, South, Brazil, Philippines, Australia, Philippines, South Korea, Australia, Brazil, Turkey, Brazil, Palestine, Germany, Brazil, Turkey, South Korea, Brazil, Germany, Russia, Germany, South Korea, Russia, Germany, Russia, Philippines, Brazil, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Japan, Philippines, South Korea, United Kingdom, South Korea, Canada, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, Japan, Germany, Russia, South, Russia, Japan, Brazil, Russia, Argentina, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Brazil, South Korea, Philippines, Brazil, Philippines, Israel, Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Canada, South Australia, South Spain, Mexico, Philippines, Mexico, Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, Brazil, Philippines, South Korea, Mexico, South Argentina, Philippines, South Korea, South Philippines, Argentina, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Argentina, Mexico, Argentina, South Korea, Philippines, Philippines, Canada, South Korea, India, Argentina, Philippines, Philippines, Turkey, Philippines, Argentina, Philippines, South Brazil, Argentina, Argentina, Philippines, South Korea, Germany, Philippines, Mexico, Indonesia, Philippines, Philippines, France, Mexico, South Korea, Germany, Australia, Indonesia, South Korea, Germany, Mexico, Philippines, South Korea, India, Vietnam, India, Australia, India, Russia, Australia, South Korea, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Brazil, India, Vietnam, South Korea, Turkey, India, South Korea, India, Philippines, Germany, Australia, India, Mexico, India, India, Germany, Indonesia, Vietnam, Russia, India, Australia, Germany, South Korea, Canada, America, South Korea, India, Vietnam, India, Germany, India, Vietnam, India, Canada, Russia, Indonesia, Vietnam, India, India, Vietnam, Mexico, Philippines, India, Mexico, India, 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 Brazil, Australia, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Indonesia, India, South Germany, India, Mexico, Indonesia, Germany, Mexico, Australia, America, Japan, Germany, America, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, Turkey, South Korea, Indonesia, South Spain, Indonesia, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Canada, Mexico, Vietnam, Mexico, Canada, Vietnam, Philippines, Mexico, Philippines, South United Kingdom, Indonesia, Philippines, India, Indonesia, India, America, Indonesia, Germany, India, Indonesia, Israel, India, Indonesia, India, South Korea, India, Brazil, Germany, South Korea, Vietnam, Mexico, India, Canada, South Korea, India, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Mexico, Brazil, India, South Korea, India, South India, India, Canada, India, India, Canada, South Philippines, Mexico, Indonesia, India, South India, South Korea, India, Indonesia, India, Germany, India, India, Australia, India, India, Brazil, Philippines, Brazil, India, Brazil, South Korea, South Korea, America, Indonesia, Brazil, South Korea, Vietnam, Brazil, India, Indonesia, South Indonesia, South Korea, Germany, India, South Korea, Brazil, Germany, Brazil, Vietnam, Israel, America, India, America, India, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Indonesia, 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 Canada, South Korea, Indonesia, Brazil, India, Japan, Indonesia, India, Mexico, South Korea, Israel, South Korea, Japan, Israel, India, South Korea, Japan, India, Germany, America, Japan, Indonesia, South America, India, Vietnam, India, United, South Korea, India, Philippines, Brazil, Israel, Germany, Israel, Japan, Israel, South, Brazil, Vietnam, Philippines, Philippines, India, Indonesia, South Germany, India, America, 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 Germany, South Korea, America, Russia, Germany, Canada, India, Germany, Indonesia, Indonesia, Germany, Indonesia, Japan, India, Germany, Mexico, Germany, Philippines, France, Germany, Philippines, Germany, India, India, Israel, Germany, America, South Korea, Germany, Japan, India, Japan, Japan, Vietnam, France, India, Japan, Germany, America, India, Germany, South Korea, India, 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 Japan, Japan, Mexico, Indonesia, Germany, Brazil, Indonesia, South Korea, India, India, Japan, India, Brazil, America, Japan, America, Japan, India, India, Japan, Japan, Brazil, Japan, Japan, Indonesia, India, Brazil, India, Germany, Japan, India, Japan, India, South India, India, Brazil, South Japan, Germany, Japan, Japan, South Japan, 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 India, Japan, Indonesia, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Japan, Mexico, Japan, India, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, Germany, India, Russia, Russia, Brazil, Japan, Germany, India, Japan, India, Germany, South Brazil, India, Philippines, Japan, India, Japan, Brazil, Japan, Brazil, Japan, Palestine, India, India, Japan, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Palestine, Philippines, Indonesia, Mexico, Canada, Philippines, India, Ukraine, India, Japan, 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 India, South Japan, 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 India, Japan, Japan, Philippines, Japan, Japan, Canada, Mexico, India, South Korea, Germany, Japan, India, Germany, Germany, Philippines, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Japan, 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 Argentina, South Japan, Argentina, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Turkey, Japan, 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 Germany, Palestine, Germany, Turkey, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, South Germany, Mexico, Japan, Mexico, South Mexico, South Turkey, Argentina, South Germany, Japan, Germany, Canada, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, India, Indonesia, India, 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 Germany, Japan, Argentina, South Korea, India, Indonesia, South Indonesia, India, Argentina, South Korea, Palestine, Argentina, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, South India, Argentina, Indonesia, Argentina, South India, Japan, Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, India, Japan, Indonesia, India, India, Philippines, South Korea, United Kingdom, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, United Kingdom, India, Argentina, South Korea, Argentina, Germany, Indonesia, Argentina, Indonesia, India, South Germany, South Korea, India, Indonesia, India, Brazil, Indonesia, Indonesia, India, South Korea, Argentina, Japan, Argentina, Indonesia, India, South India, United South Korea, Argentina, Russia, Japan, India, India, Indonesia, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, Indonesia, Russia, Russia, Argentina, India, Palestine, India, India, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, India, South India, 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 South Korea, India, India, Indonesia, India, 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 Spain, India, 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 Indonesia, India, 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 America, India, India, Canada, India, India, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, India, India, South Korea, Canada, India, 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 Indonesia, Indonesia, India, India, South Indonesia, India, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, 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 Indonesia, America, India, 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 South Korea, Indonesia, India, America, India, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, 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 America, India, 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 South Korea, India, 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 in, India, India, America, South Korea, India, 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 Canada, Russia, India, 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 South Philippines, Ukraine, South Korea, Ukraine, Canada, South India, India, Vietnam, India, 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 Turkey, Canada, Ukraine, Canada, Australia, Vietnam, India, India, Germany, India, South Korea, India, India, South Vietnam, Germany, India, 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 Ukraine, India, South India, Indonesia, Canada, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Australia, India, Vietnam, Ukraine, Ukraine, India, Russia, India, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, 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 South Korea, India, Indonesia, Russia, India, 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 South India, India, South Korea, Australia, Vietnam, Russia, South Korea, India, 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 Brazil, Germany, India, Vietnam, India, Germany, India, 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 South Korea, France, India, India, Vietnam, India, India, Indonesia, Germany, India, India, South Korea, Germany, Australia, South India, Germany, South India, Canada, India, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, India, India, Australia, India, India, Indonesia, India, United, South, America, America, India, India, Canada, Indonesia, India, Philippines, India, India, Turkey, India, South India, 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 Vietnam, India, India, United Kingdom, India, Argentina, India, India, France, India, 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 Germany, India, India, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, India, Vietnam, South India, South India, India, Vietnam, India, India, America, India, 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 Vietnam, Vietnam, Brazil, Vietnam, France, India, Russia, India, Brazil, South Korea, India, India, South, Philippines, America, India, India, Brazil, South Korea, India, India, South Korea, India, Vietnam, Ukraine, India, South India, Vietnam, South Brazil, Vietnam, India, India, South Korea, India, South Russia, Philippines, India, 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 Indonesia, India, South India, India, Brazil, India, 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 Indonesia, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Spain, Canada, India, America, Canada, Canada, South Korea, Brazil, South Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Mexico, Brazil, Brazil, Turkey, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Brazil, Philippines, India, South Germany, Vietnam, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, India, South Korea, South Korea, Brazil, India, South Turkey, Brazil, Brazil, Spain, Brazil, South Korea, Brazil, Canada, Philippines, South Korea, Vietnam, India, India, Canada, South Korea, India, Russia, Germany, Japan, Brazil, Vietnam, Brazil, Spain, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Canada, South Korea, South Korea, Brazil, India, Russia, Brazil, South Korea, Vietnam, Brazil, Vietnam, Brazil, Germany, Turkey, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, Spain, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Canada, South Korea, Russia, Brazil, Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, Brazil, Philippines, Brazil, South Korea, Vietnam, Brazil, Philippines, Brazil, Canada, Vietnam, Canada, Brazil, South Korea, Australia, South Korea, Vietnam, Argentina, Canada, America, South Vietnam, Vietnam, Canada, Vietnam, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, Vietnam, Canada, South Philippines, South Korea, Vietnam, Canada, America, Russia, Canada, Brazil, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Russia, Vietnam, India, France, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, South Vietnam, South Vietnam, America, India, India, Russia, South India, Vietnam, Canada, South Korea, South Russia, Japan, Vietnam, Russia, Vietnam, South Russia, Japan, Brazil, South Vietnam, Brazil, Vietnam, South Vietnam, Brazil, Vietnam, Vietnam, South India, South Vietnam, South Korea, United Kingdom, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, India, United Vietnam, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Mexico, India, India, America, South Korea, India, Vietnam, Mexico, India, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, India, South Korea, India, India, Vietnam, India, Philippines, India, South Philippines, India, India, South Vietnam, South Korea, Philippines, Spain, India, South Turkey, South Korea, India, Japan, South Vietnam, United Philippines, India, South India, India, South America, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Vietnam, Canada, India, Philippines, South Korea, South Korea, India, Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, India, America, Germany, South Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea, South America, India, South Korea, India, Vietnam, South India, South Vietnam, South Japan, America, South Korea, South India, Russia, India, Vietnam, South Korea, India, America, Vietnam, South Argentina, India, Vietnam, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, Vietnam, South Vietnam, South America, Vietnam, India, Philippines, Vietnam, Argentina, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, Philippines, Vietnam, Mexico, South Korea, Germany, United Kingdom, India, South Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Turkey, Japan, Germany, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, America, Japan, South Japan, Russia, South Japan, Vietnam, India, South Korea, America, Japan, Russia, America, Japan, America, Japan, South America, Turkey, Japan, Germany, Japan, America, Japan, Germany, Japan, India, Japan, Vietnam, America, Brazil, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Vietnam, Israel, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Germany, America, Vietnam, Israel, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, 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 Vietnam, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Canada, South Korea, Canada, Canada, South Vietnam, Canada, 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 Vietnam, Canada, Japan, Vietnam, Canada, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Canada, South Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, Vietnam, Brazil, India, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, India, Germany, India, Vietnam, Australia, India, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, India, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, Japan, India, America, Vietnam, 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 India, South Korea, Germany, Australia, Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, Australia, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Australia, America, 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 South Korea, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea. South Korea, South Korea, Japan, America, South Japan, South Germany, Germany, Vietnam, America, Spain, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, Canada, Japan, Germany, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, South Japan, Japan, Germany, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, Vietnam, United Kingdom, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, South Korea, South Japan, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Canada, Vietnam, America, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, America, Japan, South America, Japan, America, United Kingdom, South Korea, United Kingdom, South Mexico, United America, America, United Kingdom, Mexico, France, South Korea, South Korea, United Kingdom, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, France, Brazil, Japan, France, America, Vietnam, France, Vietnam, Russia, Germany, South Korea, Germany, Philippines, France, Japan, America, Israel, Ukraine, Vietnam, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Brazil, Japan, Germany, South Korea, South Korea, South Palestine, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Australia, Ukraine, South Japan, Philippines, America, Japan, America, America, Japan, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Japan, India, United Russia, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Japan, South Korea, South Japan, Russia, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Japan, Vietnam, Israel, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, America, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, India, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, America, Canada, South Korea, Japan, France, India, United Kingdom, South Korea, Canada, India, South Korea, India, South Korea, France, India, South Korea, France, Japan, India, South Korea, India, United Kingdom, India, France, India, Germany, South India, France, South Korea, Germany, France, India, France, Ukraine, South Korea, France, India, Spain, France, South Korea, France, Mexico, France, India, France, South Korea, India, Russia, South Korea, Argentina, India, Spain, South Korea, India, South Korea, Australia, Brazil, Australia, Indonesia, Australia, India, Israel, Australia, India, Israel, India, America, India, Japan, India, Australia, Canada, Australia, India, Ukraine, India, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, India, South Korea, Israel, India, South Korea, India, United Kingdom, India, Mexico, Israel, India, Israel, 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 India, France, India, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, South France, India, South India, Israel, South Israel, South India, South Israel, India, South Israel, France, India, South Korea, South India, India, United Kingdom, South Indonesia, France, India, South Korea, France, South Korea, India, Turkey, South India, Israel, Israel, France, Israel, Indonesia, India, Palestine, Indonesia, Mexico, Israel, Israel, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, India, South Argentina, Israel, Indonesia, United Kingdom, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Israel, France, Israel, 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 South Korea, Israel, South Korea, Israel, Israel, India, Philippines, India, Israel, South Korea, Israel, Philippines, India, Philippines, Indonesia, India, India, Philippines, South Korea, France, Ukraine, Philippines, India, America, Israel, France, Ukraine, India, Philippines, France, South Korea, India, South Korea, France, Canada, France, United Kingdom, India, France, Vietnam, Israel, Israel, South Korea, Israel, France, Israel, India, Israel, 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 Germany, America, 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 South Korea, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, India, South India, Brazil, South India, America, India, France, India, South Korea, France, South India, France, Japan, India, Israel, India, France, India, France, South Korea, France, South Korea, France, India, Australia, France, France, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, India, Philippines, Japan, Philippines, Australia, South Korea, United Kingdom, Philippines, Australia, Ukraine, South Korea, Philippines, Australia, Russia, South Korea, Philippines, Palestine, Philippines, France, Australia, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, Turkey, France, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, Indonesia, Mexico, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Russia, Philippines, South Russia, Philippines, Russia, Philippines, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, Mexico, Philippines, Mexico, Philippines, Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, Mexico, Philippines, America, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, India, Philippines, South Vietnam, Philippines, Palestine, Philippines, Philippines, Australia, Mexico, South Philippines, Spain, Philippines, Mexico, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Japan, South Japan, Indonesia, South Indonesia, Palestine, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, Spain, Mexico, South Korea, Mexico, Indonesia, 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 South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, Philippines, Mexico, South South Korea, South Philippines, South Korea, Japan, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Philippines, South Korea, Argentina, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Indonesia, Indonesia, Israel, Vietnam, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Philippines, India, Philippines, India, Indonesia, India, South Korea, India, Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, France, America, Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, United, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, Spain, Indonesia, India, Philippines, India, South India, South Korea, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Korea, India, India, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, United Kingdom, South Korea, Russia, India, India, South Korea, India, India, Indonesia, Russia, India, India, South Korea, India, India, Philippines, Japan, Canada, Vietnam, Philippines, South United Kingdom, Vietnam, Philippines, India, Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Brazil, South Korea, Vietnam, France, Indonesia, India, South Korea, Ukraine, South Korea, Philippines, India, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, India, South Korea, Philippines, Russia, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, South Japan, South Korea, Israel, South Korea, Spain, Vietnam, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Vietnam, Germany, Vietnam, Vietnam, Japan, South Vietnam, India, Japan, Vietnam, India, India, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, America, Argentina, South, India, India, Vietnam, South Korea, India, Palestine, Vietnam, India, Israel, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, 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 Vietnam, America, South Korea, India, South Korea, Vietnam, Palestine, Vietnam, Israel, India, Vietnam, Israel, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Vietnam, Mexico, Vietnam, Australia, Vietnam, 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 Germany, Indonesia, Japan, America, Indonesia, South Korea, Indonesia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, Vietnam, America, Indonesia, Ukraine, Vietnam, Philippines, Vietnam, Israel, Philippines, South Vietnam, Germany, Vietnam, Germany, Vietnam, Indonesia, Vietnam, Vietnam, Germany, Germany, South Korea, South Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, Canada, South Korea, India, Indonesia, Argentina, America, Vietnam, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, America, India, Germany, America, America, Germany, India, America, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, America, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, South Vietnam, United Kingdom, Spain, India, South Korea, United Kingdom, Argentina, India, United Kingdom, India, South Germany, India, United Kingdom, Japan, India, Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, India, India, Indonesia, India, India, Japan, Brazil, India, South Korea, India, India, South Korea, Japan, India, India, South Korea, India, India, America, India, South Korea, India, Germany, South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, India, United Kingdom, India, United Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Indonesia, India, Japan, Vietnam, Australia, India, 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 United Kingdom, India, Japan, India, 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 United Kingdom, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Japan, America, India, India, Indonesia, India, Japan, America, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Japan, South Russia, India, Indonesia, South Korea, India, Vietnam, India, India, Indonesia, Japan, India, Vietnam, Canada, Japan, Vietnam, Vietnam, India, India, Philippines, India, America, Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, South, Germany, South Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, South, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, India, Japan, India, Japan, India, Japan, Russia, Japan, Russia, India, Russia, Japan, Japan, India, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, South Japan, South Japan, Turkey, France, Japan, Japan, South Vietnam, Japan, America, Japan, America, Philippines, Japan, Vietnam, Japan, South Japan, Philippines, Japan, South Spain, Japan, Japan, Ukraine, Japan, Israel, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, Vietnam, South Indonesia, India, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, India, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Mexico, Vietnam, Japan, India, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Canada, Vietnam, South Japan, Israel, Vietnam, Canada, Japan, Vietnam, Russia, Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, India, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Japan, Vietnam, France, South Japan, Vietnam, Germany, America, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia, Argentina, India, India, Japan, Brazil, Russia, Vietnam, South Korea, India, India, Indonesia, South Korea, South Vietnam, India, Japan, Israel, India, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, United Kingdom, India, South Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, France, Indonesia, South Korea, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Indonesia, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Korea, Germany, Indonesia, Vietnam, Mexico, Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Germany, France, Indonesia, Vietnam, Ukraine, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Indonesia, France, Vietnam, 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 India, Vietnam, Australia, South Korea, Turkey, South Korea, Japan, South Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Vietnam, India, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, Vietnam, Ukraine, Vietnam, 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 India, Vietnam, 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 Spain, India, Vietnam, Japan, France, India, Vietnam, Vietnam, Israel, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Palestine, America, South Korea, South Korea, France, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Vietnam, Russia, Vietnam, 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 Palestine, Vietnam, 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 Canada, South Korea, Canada, Vietnam, South Korea, Mexico, South United Vietnam, South Vietnam, South Korea, South Vietnam, South Korea, Germany, South Vietnam, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, South India, United Kingdom, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Argentina, United Kingdom, Vietnam, Mexico, United Kingdom, Vietnam, Vietnam, Argentina, Vietnam, United Kingdom, Japan, 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 Philippines, Japan, Mexico, Japan, Japan, United Kingdom, Palestine, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Palestine, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Brazil, Japan, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Japan, Japan, Argentina, Japan, Japan, Vietnam, Vietnam, South Korea, France, Philippines, Japan, Philippines, India, Vietnam, 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 South Korea, Japan, South Canada, Spain, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Spain, Japan, Turkey, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, 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 Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, Japan, Mexico, Japan, Vietnam, Russia, Philippines, Brazil, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, Argentina, Japan, India, Japan, Japan, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, America, Japan, South Korea, America, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Philippines, Japan, Turkey, Philippines, Vietnam, America, Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, India, South Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, Japan, Philippines, South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, South Germany, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, America, Japan, America, South Korea, America, Japan, America, America, South Korea, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, America, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Brazil, Japan, Japan, Vietnam, United Kingdom, South Korea, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Vietnam, Japan, France, United Kingdom, Japan, South Russia, South Korea, Mexico, South Korea, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Canada, South Korea, India, South Korea, Turkey, South Korea, Germany, South Korea, France, Japan, America, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Australia, Japan, Indonesia, Germany, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Brazil, South Indonesia, Turkey, Australia, South Korea, Australia, Philippines, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, Spain, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, Australia, South Korea, Germany, Australia, Spain, Australia, Philippines, Australia, South Korea, Israel, Australia, Argentina, South Vietnam, India, Vietnam, America, South Korea, India, Japan, India, South Korea, India, Japan, India, South Korea, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, South India, Australia, Russia, India, Brazil, Japan, Vietnam, India, Russia, India, India, Japan, India, Indonesia, India, India, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Israel, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, South Australia, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Australia, India, Japan, Spain, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, Australia, Japan, South Korea, India, Australia, India, Canada, India, South Korea, Israel, Japan, India, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Indonesia, Japan, India, Israel, Philippines, Japan, Australia, Vietnam, Australia, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Japan, South Japan, Philippines, South Korea, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, America, Argentina, Philippines, Japan, Australia, Japan, Australia, Japan, Philippines, America, Canada, America, Japan, India, South America, Brazil, America, Philippines, America, Japan, India, South Korea, Australia, Philippines, South India, Philippines, Australia, Philippines, Germany, Japan, India, South Korea, Japan, India, South Japan, South Korea, Philippines, South Korea, India, Japan, South Korea, Japan, India, South Korea, South Philippines, South Korea, Philippines, Brazil, South Korea, India, South Korea, Israel, Japan, Philippines, South America, America, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, Japan, Philippines, Vietnam, Philippines, United Kingdom, Japan, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, America, Japan, Japan, Indonesia, South Korea, Australia, Indonesia, 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 Japan, India, Japan, Argentina, Japan, 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 United Kingdom, Japan, Japan, Spain, Japan, United Kingdom, Palestine, South Japan, United Kingdom, South Korea, United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, Canada, Japan, United Kingdom, Vietnam, United Kingdom, Mexico, Japan, United Kingdom, Philippines, United Kingdom, Japan, 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 United Kingdom, South Korea, Mexico, Mexico, Japan, 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 South Korea, South Korea, Japan, Japan, Mexico, United Japan, 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 United Kingdom, Palestine, Japan, Japan, United, Mexico, United Kingdom, South Korea, Mexico, Russia, United, Japan, Australia, Japan, United Kingdom, Japan, India, Japan, United, South Korea, India, United Kingdom, Japan, United Kingdom, Mexico, United Kingdom, Mexico, South Korea, Australia, Australia, India, South Korea, United, Australia, India, South Korea, United Kingdom, Mexico, South, United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, South, Australia, Mexico, South Korea, United Kingdom, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, United, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, South Japan, India, South Korea, France, United Kingdom, France, United Kingdom, South Korea, United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, South France, South Indonesia, United Kingdom, Canada, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, Japan, United Kingdom, United Kingdom, South Korea, South Japan, South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, United Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, Indonesia, Ukraine, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, Japan, United Kingdom, Japan, Brazil, United Kingdom, Indonesia, Japan, United Kingdom, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, 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 United Kingdom, Indonesia, United Kingdom, Indonesia, Canada, Japan, Indonesia, United Kingdom, Australia, United Kingdom, Japan, Mexico, India, South Korea, Argentina, Japan, South Korea, South United Kingdom, Indonesia, Japan, India, Indonesia, United Kingdom, United Kingdom, South Korea, Indonesia, United Kingdom, South Korea, India, South Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, South Japan, India, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, India, Indonesia, South Japan, Indonesia, Indonesia, South Indonesia, Indonesia, India, South India, South Vietnam, India, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, South Korea, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Turkey, South America, India, South Korea, South Korea, South Vietnam, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, Ukraine, Indonesia, South Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, India, South Korea, India, South India, South Korea, India, Palestine, South Korea, Japan, South Indonesia, Israel, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Argentina, South Korea, India, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Indonesia, South Korea, India, Japan, United, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Ukraine, India, South Korea, United Kingdom, Vietnam, South India, South Japan, India, Indonesia, America, South Korea, India, South Korea, India, South Turkey, India, 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 Japan, Indonesia, India, 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 Indonesia, South Korea, Philippines, Philippines, Germany, South Korea, India, Indonesia, India, Indonesia, India, France, Japan, South Korea, India, Indonesia, America, Indonesia, South Korea, America, Japan, South Indonesia, 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 South Korea, India, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, South Russia, South Korea, India, Indonesia, Turkey, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Indonesia, India, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, Indonesia, India, France, Mexico, Indonesia, Philippines, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, India, South Indonesia, South India, Philippines, India, Vietnam, Canada, India, South India, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, South America, America, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Brazil, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Vietnam, America, Vietnam, Mexico, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, India, South Korea, Vietnam, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Vietnam, Indonesia, Mexico, Indonesia, Vietnam, Israel, Indonesia, Vietnam, Germany, Vietnam, Mexico, India, Brazil, Indonesia, Vietnam, Germany, Indonesia, Vietnam, Spain, Indonesia, South Korea, Indonesia, Russia, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, Russia, South Vietnam, Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, Germany, Vietnam, Japan, Russia, South Korea, Russia, Indonesia, Japan, Vietnam, Palestine, Mexico, Vietnam, United Kingdom, South Korea, Japan, France, Japan, Russia, France, South Korea, South Korea. Spain, India. Australia, Japan. South Korea, Japan, Germany. Ukraine, South Korea, Japan, Russia, Brazil, Russia, Australia, Australia, India, Australia, Russia, Germany, Australia, South Korea, South Korea, Indonesia, Japan, Russia, Germany, Indonesia, Vietnam, Germany, Indonesia, Russia, Japan, Russia, Russia, South Korea, America, United, Russia, India, United, Russia, India, United, Russia, Russia, Vietnam, Russia, Indonesia, Russia, Spain, India, Germany, Russia, South Russia, South Russia, South Korea, Russia, India, Russia, Russia, Germany, South Korea, Argentina, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Australia, Philippines, Russia, Australia, Russia, Spain, Philippines, Australia, South Australia, Russia, Russia, Australia, Russia, Palestine, Russia, Russia, Australia, Australia, Russia, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Russia, South Korea, Russia, Australia, South Korea, South Korea, Russia, Australia, Russia, Australia, Russia, Russia, South Korea, Russia, Brazil, Russia, Russia, South Korea, Russia, 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 South Korea, South Korea, Russia, South Korea, South Korea, Russia, India, Russia, South Russia, Australia, Germany, India, Russia, 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 South Korea, South Korea, South Korea, Turkey, Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Russia, South Korea, South Russia, Russia, America, South Korea, Russia, 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 South Korea, Russia, Russia, Mexico, America, Russia, 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 South Korea, Russia, 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 Mexico, Russia, Russia, Argentina, Russia, Indonesia, Russia, Russia, South France, Russia, Russia, Germany, America, Australia, Germany, Russia, Indonesia, South Canada, South Korea, South Korea, Brazil, Australia, Japan, Japan, Ukraine, Australia, Israel, America, France, Japan, Australia, Russia, South Korea, Japan, Canada, Indonesia, Canada, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, South Korea, India, Australia, Mexico, Australia, Australia, South Korea, Australia, India, Australia, Australia, India, Australia, India, South Korea, America, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, India, Japan, America, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, India, Japan, America, India, South Australia, South Russia, Japan, South India, Japan, India, Germany, South India, Japan, Australia, Germany, Japan, Australia, 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 Japan, Indonesia, Germany, India, Japan, Japan, India, Japan, India, United, South, United, Japan, Japan, South Japan, Australia, Japan, South Korea, South Korea, Japan, South Japan, India, Indonesia, India, Japan, Indonesia, Japan, 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 India, Japan, India, South Indonesia, Japan, India, South Korea, Japan, India, 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 Japan, India, Japan, India, South Korea, India, India, South India, India, Indonesia, India, South Australia, India, South India, Japan, India, Japan, Japan, India, Indonesia, India, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Australia, India, India, Indonesia, Japan, India, Japan, India, 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 Australia, India, South Japan, India, Indonesia, India, Japan.